Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about how to saddle your horse today, and we're going to start with saddling up with a Western saddle. So follow along and hopefully we can answer any questions that you guys have about tacking up your horse. So we're going to be using Teddy today in our demonstration, and as you can see, Teddy has a very predominant withers right here on his back. It sticks up pretty high, as you can tell. So because he has such a high withers, we pay attention to that whenever we saddle him. Every horse is different, so you should monitor that whenever you're saddling your horses, choosing a pad and making sure that saddle fit is proper. But for today, we're just going to show you the basics on how to saddle. We'll probably get into saddle fit on another video shortly. But first thing you want to do is have a decent saddle pad. Okay, and you want to make sure that your pad is not too far forward or too far back. So for instance, if it's too far forward, it'll look something like this. That is too far up on the neck, and if it's too far back, you can see he has a lot of his withers sticking out right here. Also, he has too much of the pad back on his rump. So you can also see how the pad is kind of sitting at an angle. You want it to be fairly flat. I always tell my students that you look for the middle of the shoulder blade. Try to find about the center of it, and you want the front of the pad to line up with the center of the shoulder blade. So we have the pad nice and straight. We're going to go ahead and add our saddle in. Now whenever you put your saddle on your horse's back, some of your saddles might be heavier than others. You want to make sure that you don't slam it down on their back so that you don't create any soreness or that you make them shy of the saddle in any way. The saddle I have is a medium weight today. It's kind of heavy for some of my riders. And so I'm gonna kind of swing my momentum with the saddle to get it on his back, but I'm gonna try to lower it down gently so it doesn't hurt him when I put it on. And just like your pad, you wanna make sure that your saddle's not too far forward or too far back. If it's sitting too far forward, it'll have a tilt, or it'll sit like it will look like it's seated uphill. So here's an example of your saddle being too far forward. You can see the front of the saddle is sitting upward, and it looks like it's kind of a downward slope to the seat where the rider would be. And if it's too far back, it does the opposite. It looks like it's sitting nose down. So if the saddle is seated too far back, it'll sit downward and cause the rider to sit forward. And this is also uncomfortable for your horse, so make sure your saddle is nice and even in the middle of its back. Now when you get to this point, you want to take the front of your saddle pad and you'll pull it up in this opening in the front of the saddle. It's called the gullet. And what that does is it lifts the pressure up off of Teddy's shoulder blades, especially with Teddy being having a higher withers. We want to make sure that we keep all the pressure off his shoulders and his withers as much as possible. So all I do is lift this straight up into the gullet, and that relieves some pressure. All right, now we're gonna work on the girth. I've already checked the other side to make sure the girth isn't stuck on the stirrup and that it's ready to come under the belly and be cinched up. Just gonna get this stirrup up out of my way and undo my strap here. I always tell my students that you want to look for about 4 fingers between the elbow, which starts about here on the horse's leg, and the front of the girth. So it'll be something like this. And you want to make sure that you don't have more than 4 fingers. It would look something like this. See all that space that's in between here? That would mean that your saddle is too far back, or maybe you've pulled your girth too far back. And you don't want it too close to that front leg like that. They have a lot of loose skin right there, and you don't want to cause any pinching. So about 4 fingers to make sure there's plenty of room. And then you can start adding your strap in. You just loop it up around the top. And then you're just going to retrace your steps. So this extra piece, I'm going to slide in back behind those and take it down through the bottom. There's 2 different ways that you can tighten up the girth. You can use the buckle, or you can make a knot around the top. I'm going to show you both of them. not all of the straps have holes in them. So if you don't have holes in your strap, you're gonna have to do the knot. I'm gonna show you that first. When you do the knot, you just take it through the top ring and you take it straight across, like that. You take it straight across through the other side, and then all you do is take it straight through this hole and pull tight. So that's how you make your knot. And if you're going to use the holes, you don't need the knot. So if I'm going to use the hole, I just put the buckle right through the hole. And then I'm going to take this piece here and pull it out so that it locks that buckle into place. And if you have a bunch of extra strap here, you can either stick it through the top. Some of the saddles will have a strap right here. You can run it up through and tuck it in. And then some of them have an extra place down here on the girth that you can tuck it in as well. Since I don't have one on this saddle, I'm just going to stick it through the top. All right, now for unsaddling, I'm going to get the stirrup out of my way. I'm going to undo all the straps I put on. And you want to tie this piece up so that you don't trip over it whenever you're going to put your saddle up. Some people just loop it through the top. I like to kind of make it in a knot so that it looks nice. Like that. And then we're also going to put our girth up on the other right side of the saddle. You'll have your girth, and a lot of saddles have an extra piece right here. This is what I like to hook my girths to. If for some reason you don't have this, you can simply take the girth and put it over top of the saddle, and it can stay just like that. But I like to just take the hook and buckle it. Now when you go to take your saddle off, especially when you have a tall horse or you have a horse with a high withers like Teddy does, you want to make sure you lift up and then pull it off to the side. You don't want to just grab it and pull straight to the side. If that happens a lot, it'll cause your horse to get sore. It can cause their back to really hurt. It can cause them to not want to be saddled anymore. So try to be very careful when you place it on and whenever you take it off. So I'm going to lift straight up with the saddle and then pull it to the side. And you can take all of your stuff and put it away in your tack room. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope this answered any questions you had about tacking up, and we'll see you in the next video.